to talk about, and I don't think we've really talked about this before, so I'm hoping this leads us in an interesting direction, because I was just kind of thinking about I'm thinking of one kid in particular, and he seems like he does everything right.
Okay.
He seems like he works really hard. He skates hard. He's a good kid, but then I watch him in the game and he seems the same. And so the question that I always end up asking in my head is, what do you do when you're not here? What are you doing when you're at home? Because what I think, and this is just kind of me thinking while we've been talking, I wrote this down, is where are the differences actually made for kids, right? When they're in those like critical development years, where do you actually see the biggest difference in, or what makes the biggest difference? Everybody has a trainer, everybody skates, everybody works on their skill stuff for, let's say, 3 hours a day, let's say 5-6 times a week. So what is separating one kid from another kid? Obviously that there's some genetic capabilities, there's some, faster rates of progression for kids. But to me, one thing that I think is a real missing link, especially with kids now, is what do you do when you're not here? So when you're at home, I think that is where you make or break your own progress, when you're not doing your training. So you train hard for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours, off ice, on ice, whatever it is. That's a lot of day outside of that.
Yep.
So what are you doing mentally? What are you doing physically? We talk about environment things. And to me, in my opinion, people get so caught up thinking, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing this, I need to go to this trainer and this trainer and this trainer and do this and this and this. But then you still go home for 20 hours.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do during that time?
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's becoming more and more apparent to me that is the time that makes or breaks you. When you're not here, are you staying dialed in outside of being here? Mm-hmm. So instead of as parents or as players, instead of being so concerned about making sure you don't miss something in terms of this spring hockey tournament or team or this training with this trainer or whatever thing you think you're missing, spend more focused attention when you're not doing your training yep. at the gym, on the ice, because that's where the gains to me are really going to be made, because everyone is kind of on equal.
I just want to ask a question though. So when you said that this player, you don't see it in the game, that when we play the games, you don't see the progress in a game?
No, like I do, but I don't.
But the only question I'm asking about this is like, you don't see that, you think he should be better?
I feel like he should be better based on what I see when he's training.
And better as far as what? Skill?
As a hockey player. Just playing the game.
Okay.
I feel like he should be more impactful.
Okay.
Based on the work that he seems to put in when he's training.
Okay.
Let's say.
Okay.
So because of the one kid I'm thinking of in particular,
yep.
And the other one too, the one that they're always kind of paired.
Yep.
With those two guys, when I go watch them, I'm like, man, these guys are horses. Like they work. Yeah. And there's certain things, like some guys just don't have the ability to the same degree as other guys, and that's fine. But the question mark I have, which I don't have with other guys, is when you're not here, I don't know what you do. Right. I don't know if you're still trying to make progress in those other 20 hours of the day when you're not here, or the other 10 that you're awake, whatever it is, So to me, I feel like people don't really put emphasis on what they're doing when they're not here. It's like I come do my 3 hours and then I'm done.
Okay,
does that make sense?
So,
what I'm saying kind of makes sense?
No, it makes sense.
Thoughts,
it makes sense. So now, but I got questions.
Yeah, for sure.
So my next question would be, like, in your opinion, what do you think that one or two of those guys do? Like that, I'm just curious what you're thinking. What do you think? Like, you say I have no idea what they're doing, or do you think that they?
It would be kind of like either recovery things or environment things, or one of those two. Recovery things or environment things. So the second you walk out the door, is it all about your girlfriend now? The second you walk out the gym door, are you eating whatever you want? Are you going to bed late? Are you worried about hanging out with your friends and are you hockey?
Oh, okay.
Do you understand what I mean?
I do. I do. Because I'm trying to make I'm trying to not trying. I'm just because I don't want to say that when you're done your day of hockey that you never ever think about hockey or don't. There's no, because what I'm saying is there is a time and a place to rest and not think about hockey.
For sure.
Not think about
For sure.
hockey. But then so getting hockey out of your mind. What does that mean? Is that what you're saying?
Kind of that.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So so here I'll give the example because what I'm thinking of is when I was a kid and I didn't make the NHL. So there you go. But when I went home from school or when I went home from wherever, it was like hockey, 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 hockey. Not that I never rested or never thought about something else, but it was like that was always the backdrop of what I was thinking. You know, it was like that genuine love, like the genuine passion of I just want to sit in my driveway and just stick handle and just like flip the puck around on my stick and tape it and look at it and just make sure my gear's in the perfect position. And I had a lot of that. And I don't know if the kids have that. And my question is, are they so busy trying to chase? Do they think that it's a trainer that's going to make or break them? That's kind of what I'm getting at. Is the trainer going to be the difference maker? Because to me, if you go anywhere to work out, if you have the work ethic and your trainer is somewhat educated on how to train people,
you're gonna be fine.
You're going to be fine. You don't need to come here. I think here's the best.
Yeah.
But you could go somewhere else.
Okay, I think I'm just gonna cut you off. I think like as you're saying all this kind of stuff, I think it's your environment, 100%, 100%. I think that's your environment. Like in my house, I would say I'm the rudder. Okay, we keep things in line. He sees me like we do it together, but not because I tell him what to do. So he sees me eat. Right, it would be one thing, and I think a lot of these kids have this. Right, mom and dad want to make pierogies that night. Well, that's not healthy. But I'm going to make sure that he's eating the way I eat. We're going to have carbs, protein, and old guy here, guy looking in. We're going to have healthy food that we can be optimal on. He's going to see me work out, get up in the morning and work out. So what happens in our house, he at the end of the day, if I say, Charlie, do you think this is a good idea? He knows where it's coming from. He knows that I do it too. And he knows that, look at the people that we deal with. Mm-hmm. So he understands, okay, this is probably a good thing. And we play catch and we do things together that are, and our conversations when it's about hockey, it's not goofy stuff. It's like becoming better. So like, being the rudder, it's like it always just I know how to take my kid and just bring him back to focus without telling him all about hockey. Yeah. So I always know how to build a dream with him without him knowing I'm building a dream. You know, to lay out something there that he goes, oh yeah, I want to be a pro. Right.
So this is precisely what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So my point, and you just spelled it out for everyone, parents listening, is more on the parent side because kids don't know. Like they don't know. They need the rudder.
Yeah.
But I think parents, they're so busy trying to make sure we don't miss something or compete with somebody else.
Right.
Or in the very few hours of the day that their kid is training, and they don't prioritize or they don't think about the rest of the day. Like, what does your kid do the rest of the day? And for you, the example you just spelled out was you're making sure that that environment is conducive to the goal that your kid says that he has. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how true that is for other people. And that's kind of what I'm pointing out with those other kids that I mentioned a couple minutes ago, is when they're not here, I don't know if they get that. I don't know if they get people giving the good message in their head or keeping them on track without making it 100% hockey all the time, just because they're giving them good information and making them feel ambitious and goal driven and goal oriented and staying aligned with what they're doing. Because to me, my opinion, that is what makes or breaks whether or not you're going to achieve the success of whatever your goal is. You know, whether it's a hockey player or something else. It's like if for 3 hours a day you're working on your goal, but then for the next 8 hours that you're still awake, you're not. And that doesn't mean you're stick handling. That doesn't mean you're practicing your shot. That doesn't mean that you never have a bad thing to eat. It means that your head is being filled with things that are keeping you between the lines, like you said. You know, you're not taking your backpack to the skate park and smoking weed and drinking and trying to get away with being an idiot kid because it's fun to be a little bit risky. It's like those are not the activities that are conducive to your goals. Go golfing, yeah, that works. Have a good conversation with your dad about this documentary you watched, yeah, that works. It's like these are things that help to keep you on track with and being thoughtful. And this is one thing that I credit Charlie with a lot because he's an absolute goof, but he's actually a smart kid. He's not a dumb kid.
He's very, very bright.
So even though 98% of the time people that come into contact with Charlie are like, what a goof, like this guy's such a dummy. It's like, yeah, dummy when he's, but he's dummy when he's being playful and joking around.
Yeah.
But
like idiot.
He actually gets it, and he actually is dialed in on it because he always has shit in his head that is keeping him on track. And I think that is what makes guys different. What makes guys different is those other hours.
Yeah.
It's not the hours that everyone is at the gym doing the same thing. You know, the differentiator is those other hours when you're not here. And I think that people would be far better off spending and investing their time in those hours than looking for the secret or looking for the special training tip. It's like, that's only 1 hour of your day, you know?
I was just thinking about this. I talked about this a lot in life. Okay.